It's time for another power-packed episode of Headspace with Dr. Mike. Each week, Dr. Mike is committed to addressing real life, sometimes polarizing and controversial issues, while offering practical and informed insight. Listen in as we discuss hot topics that matter to us and the communities we live in.
What's happening, Headspacers? How y'all doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
See what's happening. Guess what, y'all, today? Well, first of all, before we even get into that, I want to just welcome you all to another episode of Headspace with Dr. Mike. Thank you for those of you who are either participating in the live broadcast on Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time via Facebook and YouTube, or if you're tuning in on the Elevate Your Life talk radio through Elevation Global Media, as well as our podcast. We welcome you. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do not take for granted that you could be listening to somebody else. And so we definitely appreciate your support. So today is a special day. Today is a special day.
Today is a special day. Not just any day.
Well, let's see. It's not. It loses its impact if you don't let me give you the introduction.
Okay. Oh,
let me be your hype man.
Okay, my bad. Let me step back. See? Go ahead, Mike. Do your thing.
See? Because she's a little older, y'all. She thinks she's grown. Try to be your hype man. Y'all give it up for Princess Christy, Queen Christy. Today is the day that we were graced with her presence. I'm not going to go ahead and give all the business and tell them how long we've been graced with your presence. Just know that she has completed a number of revolutions of the sun, and today marks the beginning of a new one. So, Christy, happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya.
Happy
birthday to ya.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. Oh, Lord. We're going to the second verse.
You know what's funny about that song, though? We never really know how it ends. Because the way it is on the radio, it's just like a fade out.
This is the song that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friend. I know. And nobody ever stops at the right time. So
nope.
But it's all good. But thank you, Mike. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Birthday wishes. I am grateful to see yet another year. God is great. God is great.
Good. So I'm sure Rob and Mason are going to take good care of you. I'm sure Jax has something in store for you as well. So
I'm sure he does.
So happy birthday, and thank you for hanging out with us on your special day. You getting some love in the chats. We got Kevin in Denver. We got my mom. She said good morning, baby, but I'm sure she'll say happy birthday in a few minutes. and Shabella said happy birthday.
Thank you, Dorsey clan.
Yeah, so everybody is loving on you today. And look, we always do it. We got our head notes. We like to really keep people informed. What is happening in the news? What is going on?
Well, I guess the top thing we could talk about, let's just go ahead and get it over with. We're on our way to war. We talked about it.
Sounds like.
Yeah, we talked about it last week that it was, imminent, and it's even more imminent. So just pray for our troops and those in Ukraine and the citizens there, and that's all we can do.
Yeah, definitely.
Mason doesn't like it.
Mason, yeah, I get you, Mason. I think Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense, President Biden said it yesterday that it seems like President Putin has made up his mind that Russia's going to go to war. Well, going to invade Ukraine, but then Lloyd Austin, the defense secretary, said the same thing. So I'm guessing that they were going to just wait till after the Olympics. The Olympics end tonight or tomorrow. So, oh gosh, just war just sucks anyway. But the Bible told us that there's going to be wars and rumors of wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So this is not necessarily something that that is coming as a shock to us. I think the part about it is that I don't think we really understand why it's happening, though. Why is it a big deal? So I guess in the coming days we'll get more answers to that, and I just pray that it just ends quickly. Well, I pray that it ends quickly and as peacefully as possible, because you can end a war quickly and
not be good.
Do it
Yeah.
Not necessarily do it the way we're hoping it gets done. So
yeah. Well, speaking of Russia, let's talk about that scandal at the Olympics.
Oh
The
wow.
scandal that ended up being quite an interesting turn of events.
So wait a minute. Let's stop. Why is it that figure skating always has some kind of like scandal? Have you ever noticed that? Like I remember back in the day we were growing up, Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Hardin, like when
It's always something with that.
I
I
was
think there's
what is going on?
well, there are probably scandals in other areas too, but figure skating is the most popular winter Olympic sport.
True.
And so it gets so much attention.
Yeah.
And those athletes are the most, seen and recognized, that when they have drama, that it's breaking news, and it's, just everybody's talking about it. But I am so, God is good. He'll just work it out, won't he? Because the girl shouldn't, and I'm not even going to attempt to say her name because I will jack it up. But the one who was at, number one after the what was it? The short routine.
Yeah, the short. Yeah.
Yeah, the short routine. She ended up doing horribly. She fell like 4 times.
Now, Christy, do you think? Okay, so our listeners know the top. What is it? The top skater for now. It's not necessarily Russia. It's the Russian Olympic Committee, because they already are in trouble with Olympics for doping charges, and so that's a mess in itself.
Right.
But she was expected to win, 15 years old, and she was expected to win. And what the Olympic Committee was saying was, if she does get a medal, they're not going to have a medal ceremony.
Right.
Which that just stinks altogether, because that's that means the people that got so let's say she got the gold, person to get the silver, person to get the bronze, they wouldn't get to get on the stand. So I think I always thought that was just like messed up.
That would have been that would have been horrible for those young ladies. And even when it was over, right? The young ladies who were from the Russian Olympic Committee couldn't even really enjoy this.
Mason got opinions about this.
They couldn't even really enjoy their win. The one girl who won gold was all by herself hugging on the teddy bear, while the other two, the one who got silver, she was just angry about the whole thing. So they were tending to her and then tending to the one who didn't win. She was 4th place. And then the one from Japan who won bronze was in tears. Yeah, I think mostly because she was just happy that she had won, though. Those were happy tears. But it was just hard. It was just like.
Well, do you now? So, listeners, again, she ended up not placing because she fell twice. Like 4 times.
1, 2, 3, 4 times.
So here's my question, Christy. Did she really fall, or did she fall? Because there's a part of me that wonders. I just wondered, because I was like, with all this scandal, you would think that somebody would say, you know what, I'm just going to back out because I don't want to get in the way of things. But Russia they don't believe in that, right? They don't believe in doing that. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if somebody had a conversation with her and said, you need to lose this.
Well, I might believe that. Well, she must be a great actress. Because listen, I'm just saying, after the routine, she was distraught.
Well, she had to be convincing.
Well, she did. She convinced me. That's what I'm saying. She convinced me. If she was faking, if it was all a ploy for the spotlight to just, be on someone else and to get past this drama, then she did a great job, because she looked devastated.
Well, there's a part of me that wonders if maybe the first. I mean, from what I understand, you're not gonna get me on. Annette said, I think the pressure was too much and her nerves got. I agree with that.
I agree.
That's what we're gonna go with. But there's just the conspiracy theory in me that just believes that she was told, you best not win a medal, but you can't back out either. And that was what it was. And then they probably also told her that you're not allowed to break any bones. I'm pretty sure, because those countries like Russia, China, people go missing when you lose stuff. Like you just.
Yeah. It's like joining the mob or something.
It really is. Like
you gotta.
Every time I watch the Summer Olympics with the gymnastics, and the Chinese and the Russian athletes, when they fall off the apparatus and stuff, I say, "Ooh, they better put their family in protected custody," because it seems like something happens.
Yeah, it's not good.
And I think the bigger controversy with it, though, because you had that, and then you had Sha'Carri Richardson, if you remember from the summer, she didn't even get to go to the Olympics.
Child, they left her home, honey.
Yeah, she didn't even get to make it. So that I think that was a whole big controversy in itself. Annette said, oh, she is scared to go back home. We may never. I'm just saying, Annette, because I mean, you know about that was China, where you had the tennis player that all of a sudden just doesn't play tennis anymore.
Right.
I don't know, but Sha'Carri Richardson. So that situation, it was that they had found some marijuana in her system, but this didn't even get to the Olympics. This was the United States basically kind of benched her for that.
Right, and that's why they're saying it's not the same, because the Olympic Committee is the one who made, which to me is worse. You're saying the U.S. has a more stringent policy than the Olympic Committee does?
Well, and see, I was actually ready to kind of go with that, like, yeah, they're two different things. But then I found out that that somewhere along the line they petitioned the International Olympic Committee to like weigh in and to kind of overturn the decision for Sha'Carri. So I'm not sure on all the details about that, but apparently that was a part of it, and they decided not to do that. So then the question becomes, okay, so you decide not to do that for this situation, but then this situation that seems a bit more puzzling. But I don't know. It's a lot. It's a whole lot, because then they're like they weren't gonna let it be on the medal stand. So this is
An Olympics is not an Olympics without some kind of drama. It's got to be some drama.
It got to be some drama.
Got to be.
Well, it ends tonight, I think, or tomorrow night, and it didn't feel Olympic-y. And I think some of that just has to do with the COVID and stuff, but it just didn't feel Olympic-y. But hopefully we'll get back. They'll be in Milan in 4 years, and then they'll be in Paris in 2 for the summer. So I'm all about that. So anyway, well, we wish our athletes who did do. We had some good. We had a first African American female
speed skater.
Skating. Yes. And the story about that I really loved was that she didn't qualify.
Yes. The other skater gave up her spot.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Beautiful.
They were saying that those blades on those skates are so sharp that you could literally cut off a fingernail. And I think that they were talking about the uniform. That's why I love watching the Olympics too, because they tell you stuff that you just didn't know. And they tell the uniforms that they wear are made of Kevlar. So that way, if they fall, somebody skates over them, it won't cut them.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is. Anyway. All right, Crystal, go ahead and take us on a break, please. 2020 gave birth to a lot of endeavors. Here in 2021, everyone has had to get in touch with their inner producer. Our man Garrett Brace is one of those guys you need on your team. We at Headspace with Dr. Mike are clients of his, as he ensures all of our audio files are crisp, clean, and cool. If you have any audio, video, and even lighting needs, hit him up at G Walt Services on Instagram. Remember, G Walt Services, servicing all your audio, video, and lighting needs. All righty, so today's heads up, I want to pose a question. Well, it's not really a question. It's a statement. As the wind blows. As the wind blows. So yesterday, we had some major winds sweep through Baltimore. I know that there were some storms that were actually coming through the country, and we were blessed that it wasn't snow for us. It ended up just being rain. But there were some places that got snow, some places that got a lot of rain and all that stuff. But regardless of what it was that you got, there was a lot of wind that came along with it. And I mean, it was crazy wind. It was crazy wind. Darius, I'm telling you, as the wind blows, man, it was crazy wind. Because it was 60 degrees the day before, we had our bedroom window open just to get some fresh air. And in the middle of the night, all of a sudden, a gust of wind just went through. My wife calls it a piece of wind. It was bigger than a piece of wind. It was a whole satchel of wind came through. It closed the door. It got to a point that little Mike was a little, he was a little scared about it. 6:30 in the morning. It was a whole lot. People lost their cable. Many people lost their power. I know that my son's godparents, they were without power most of the day, and I'm not even sure if they have cable back yet. It was a lot. And one of the things that was making me think was every last one of us have windstorms that come through our lives, right? We have situations where the wind comes through, and sometimes the wind can be a peaceful breeze, right? It's a welcome breeze on a warm day when it's just been kind of stifling and hot, and all of a sudden a light breeze goes through. I think back to the times I've been to the beach and I've walked along the shore, and just the little wind that just made the trip all the more pleasant was great. But then there are other times where you have these damaging winds that come that kind of shake up the situation. And it reminds me of just the importance of making sure we are prepared for the wind and we take advantage of the wind when it comes. And that sounds a little crazy, right? It sounds a little crazy because, especially when you talk about the fact that wind can cause damage, and it can cause damage. But one of the things that I appreciate about wind, and I'm not a meteorologist, so I didn't go to meteorology school. That's not what I'm a doctor of. But what I will tell you is I'm interested in the weather, and what I've learned along the way is that more often than not, wind comes in because there's a change that's taking place. There's a weather pattern that's changing. Either we're going from a situation where it's been really cold and now it's going to become warm. And so on the other side of the wind, this is going to bless you hopefully in a few moments. On the other side of the wind, there is a change that's coming. Sometimes it happens on the other way. When it's been really hot, all of a sudden the wind comes through and a cold front comes through. But needless to say, when it winds like that, you know that something is about to change. And a lot of times we get mixed up and we get messed up and all these things because the wind kind of takes us off guard, because sometimes it comes unexpectedly, right? It happens in a moment when you don't think about it. I think about how my family a few weeks ago, we're still going over the situation where we weren't expecting to have to say farewell to the earthly version of my father-in-law. That we weren't expecting that, right? It didn't happen. It wasn't something that we expected. But one of the things that we recognize is that that at the end of the day, the one who signs off on all those situations wasn't taken off guard. And so as wind is coming up, one of the things we have to make sure we're paying attention to is being prepared for it, right? As you start getting the signs of the wind, you have to start making sure that, if you have outdoor patio furniture, that you go and you make sure it's secure so it doesn't go blowing away. Maybe there's some loose items in your trash can, and you got to make sure the trash cans are closed up. You got to be prepared so that as the storm makes its way through, guess what? When it's over, you don't have as much to clean up. The other piece I love about the windstorms is, remember I tell you on the other side of it, there's a change. Hurricanes that come through a lot. One of the things that people will tell you is that after the hurricane moves through, even though there's been devastation in the ground, houses have been wrecked, people are displaced, the weather is simply beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous weather. It's almost like it purifies the air. And a lot of times when we think about storms, we think about the fact that they cause mayhem and chaos and havoc, which they do. But also we recognize that there's a level of cleaning and purity that comes along the way. Also, here's the other thing that happens. Life is never the same as it was before the wind came through. As much as I may want to go back to it, it's not the same. And so the question becomes, what do I do with that? Do I honor the fact that this situation has come through and this change has happened, or do I go ahead and put myself in a situation where I'm constantly grieving and mourning what was in the past instead of walking into what is the opportunity in the future, right? I think about, just some things that have happened, some friends of mine, with their businesses, and some things that happen with their jobs, and some things that have happened in their ministries, and some things that happen. And a lot of times we're ready to go back to those things, but maybe we weren't meant to stay in those things. There is a sign that change is coming still. Yeah, dude, it is. It's a sign that change is coming. Change is imminent. There's something that's going to happen. And so how are you going to embrace that change? And one of the things I love about it is that we grow stronger. After Katrina, while as devastating as Hurricane Katrina was, and my heart still goes out to the family of the people who's lost family members and things that were dear to them because of Katrina, it was because of Katrina that there were other situations around the country that people started paying attention to more closely because they realized we don't want to have a situation like Katrina. And that's important too, because now what happens is it took that bad situation to actually impact and create other situations that may not be so bad. So the point I'm making and want to make sure you all get is, as the wind blows, understand that there are possibilities and opportunities that come along with it. Don't always look at it as something that's meant to be oppressive, something that's meant to hold you back, something meant that's to keep you away. It's meant to understand and let you know that there is a change that's on the way. And the question is, how are you going to handle it? And that's my heads up.
Follow the Headspace with Dr. Mike show on all social media platforms at Headspace DM. We want to keep you up to date on all of our hot topics and keep the dialogue going even after the show. We also value what's important to you and your community. DM your show ideas to us on Instagram or Facebook. The next time you log on, you may hear Dr. Mike discussing the very topic or issue close to your heart.
Appreciate all the love we are getting in the chat today. Elevation Global Media, Cassandra Ferguson, the president, the CEO. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We definitely love you and love your team and just love the impact that you are having on the media. The devil thought that he was going to have total control over the airwaves, but guess what? He got another thing coming, because
Amen.
He is on notice that we are taking the airwaves by storm. And so if you have any desire to develop in your podcasting game, even think maybe this is something I want to do, you need to reach out to our friends at Elevation Global Media because they're going to take care of you. Definitely, we are so grateful for what they mean to us. So we love you guys. Oh, Christy, speaking of media, there's a lot happening on TV and stuff, isn't it? Like, I'm getting a little overwhelmed with what is happening. It's just like all the shows are starting to come back now. Now that we're on the other side of the pandemic, it's like now shows are coming back and that sort of thing. What is kind of grabbing your attention besides your soon-to-be toddler?
Okay, don't do that to me, Mike. He just got here yesterday. So yeah, I try to stay abreast of the shows, and my time is limited. But you and I have talked about how big we are. We're Big Brother fans.
Oh my gosh, love Big Brother.
And so I have to admit, I watch them all. I watch the regular Big Brother. I watch Celebrity Big Brother. You name it, I'm watching it.
Yep.
So I have to admit, when Big Brother started, the Celebrity Big Brother started at the beginning of this month, I was concerned, because I was looking at the celebrities they had in the house, and I was like, I'm not feeling any of these people with the exception of maybe two. And I just don't know how this mix is going to happen. But like Big Brother always does, it reels me in.
Expect the unexpected. That's what Julie said.
Expect the unexpected. And it's something about, no matter what personalities you have in the house, it's something about when they get together and mixed in the game, the pressure of the game, that show just becomes great. So I'm watching.
Could you go on Big Brother?
I talked to Rob, my husband, for those who don't know, about, applying for Big Brother. He was like, absolutely not. What you're not going to do is leave. First of all, he was just like, it's too long of a show. So he would be rooting for me to get off, to be evicted. And I'm not trying to have that. If I'm going in there, and then I'm trying to figure out, we are so dependent on our technology. And even pen and pencil and paper, you can't even use that in the house. So I'm just wondering, to answer your question, I would like to go on that, because I am curious what I would learn about myself in that kind of environment. I think there's a lot to be learned in an environment where you cannot use social media, any technology, and you really have to depend upon reading the word. You can't bring a book, I think, of the Bible. And just building relationships and alliances with people in the house. So I just think that the Big Brother is an awesome experiment of human reaction and relationship and strategy. So anyway,
it truly is a social experiment. I agree with you on that.
yeah.
Yeah, and I will tell you, having been in a situation where you are kept away from social media and stuff, believe it or not, it actually is kind of refreshing. Like it's kind of refreshing because I didn't realize you don't realize how connected we are to those things
Mm-hmm.
until like you lose it or you like leave and misplace it or whatever, and then you're like, oh my gosh, and it's almost like we're fiending like a, you know, not to diminish drug addicts or people who have alcoholism, but I feel like there are similarities to it
Oh
because it
yeah.
is an addiction like anything else. So yeah, I think you would be awesome on it. I guess my question always is, and this was always the question I asked, and it kind of got it kind of got in the way of me even on Biggest Loser. Is what kind of game would I play? Like would I play? It was funny because I always joke with myself that having watched Big Brother since its inception, I did not play Biggest Loser like I was a pro at watching those other shows, you know. And so I just wonder what kind of game player I would be.
I think people always talk about the kind of game they're going to play, and things change
Yeah,
significantly once they get in the house.
yeah,
I probably would be the kind of person who would go in without a strategy specifically.
okay,
I know one thing I definitely wouldn't do is play hard. I wouldn't play hard at the
yeah,
beginning. That
yeah,
I think that's a big mistake that a lot of people make, and
yeah,
trying to make alliances first day.
yeah.
I think that's a terrible mistake. But anyway, that's just one thing.
Well, no, but I mean, the
The
cookout.
cookout, I knew you were going. The cookout is an anomaly.
True,
It will.
true.
It never happened before. It will never happen
Probably
again.
never happen again. Yeah,
That was just just a unicorn.
yeah. You may be right. You may be right.
Um, but what else am I watching? Oh goodness, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. I know I'm just watching Big Brother right now, but I do know one show I do want to watch that I've
What's
been
that?
hearing a lot about. It's a movie called The Tinder Swindler,
I've heard about the Tinder Swindler.
and it's apparently about. Uh, I think it's about like a social media or what do you call those dating app.
Hmm.
Um, and some crazy dude. That's all I know. But I've heard that it is definitely good and it's going to leave you in awe.
Isn't that one of those documentaries, almost like the one about the fire festival? And is it like one of those types of situations where it kind of exploits like some kind of situation that you didn't even know was a thing until you watch it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
sure.
I
I'm
think I'm gonna
truly
check
going
this
into
out.
it blind. I'm going into it. And speaking of blind, isn't that a show that you're
Oh yeah.
watching?
So I'm a fan of Love Is Blind. I yeah, you all know I like reality TV, and so Love Is Blind is season 2 is out, and you know, now that I know what happens with it, because you know I watched the first season, and you kind of watch it, and for those that don't know, it's about a show where you go in and you're in these pods and you date people from based on their voices, like you basically develop a relationship with them from their voices,
It's
and
like
then
old school, phone when before they
I guess
had.
it is, but
Yeah,
but you don't even get to see a picture of them. Like you have
right,
no idea of what they look like, nothing.
right.
And so you just have to be. But you're right. You would think that their communication skills will be on point, but then what happens is after they make a decision, they propose marriage sight unseen. They see each other, and then they have to live together for a few weeks in the city that they're from. And first season they were in Atlanta. This season they're in Chicago, and then they're getting married in less than like 4 weeks, and they actually have a wedding. And the thing about it is, leading up to the wedding, they interact with the other people that they were dating in the pods that didn't know what they look like, and there's always the chance that you may have been interested in two people, and then you know all of a sudden you see what they look like compared to the person that you got. Then also just, I mean, you and I know to get ready for marriage takes time, right? It just takes time, and so there's all those elements, and then what happens is they actually have the wedding, and they decide right then and there. Most of the time, they decide right there and there if they're going to do it. And so there's some people who end up at the altar and they don't leave with a spouse. And then there's some that do. And it's fascinating to me because I was watching it, and I think because I know I believe in love. I believe in marriage. I believe marriage is awesome. And there was a part of me that it's entertaining, but then it's also just sad because I just wonder how many of these people possibly could really have a sustainable marriage if they just were able to take some more time with it. And also, I'm sitting there watching them, and I'm just like, dude, who is counseling them through this? Like, some of the stuff that they're going through, it could be as simple as just having a person that's a third party kind of just counseling them and coaching them through the process. There's a part of me that just wonders, while we're entertaining, and I'm not trying to be too deep here, but it's almost like, I don't want to say it makes a mockery of something that I feel is
no, it's the truth. I think you're spot on.
Yeah, I just think that it does bother me that as a culture we take the covenant of marriage and kind of take it so we're so lax with it.
Mike, it's been like that for quite some time now. That's been an issue for many many years.
I know.
But I watched season 1, and I actually had forgotten that season 2 had come out until I saw somebody talking about it on social media, and so I do plan to watch that. But it worked out for that couple.
Cameron and what's the name? Yep.
Yeah, I mean they seem to be doing great.
Yeah.
I think everybody's in awe, and they're like the standard. Like, that's what people, I'm sure, that go onto that show, or people who are just watching, who desire, a soulmate, and to get married. They hope that they can meet somebody like that, because they were my favorite from the beginning.
Cameron and Lauren, yeah. I think I just like the fact that he went in. It was almost like he knew what he was looking for. He definitely has a type, which just always makes me laugh when you find out what a person's type is. And he definitely liked chocolate milk, and I thought that tickled me a little bit. So yeah, and this season, I'm gonna tell you, I made it all the way through. They Netflix, you used to just be able to just watch all the way through. Nah, they
make you wait. They're making you wait.
3 different pieces. The first piece came out last week. The second piece came out this week. And the finale, I have to wait till the 24th. So next Wednesday, I got to see what actually happens. And
so my plan is, if Mason allows me, is to watch Tinder Swindler and to watch Love Is Blind between tomorrow and Monday, while I have a couple days off.
I think I'm gonna do Tinder Swindler as well, so we can review.
Yes, let's do that.
Sounds like very good for me. Anything else we're watching? We got a couple more minutes before Crystal's gonna send us the break. We got
that's all. I have some consumer reports for the next break.
For the next break. You know what? Go ahead and take us on break, Crystal, because this is important.
Our world is filled with polarizing topics that land most people on one side or the other. The Headspace with Dr. Mike team isn't afraid to take them on. Monthly, we will invite people on both sides of some of the most controversial topics, from the serious to the silly, to debate their positions. We look forward to charged discussions that will inform and entertain. DM your head-to-head show ideas to us on Instagram or Facebook at Headspace DM.
Kevin, my dude Kevin from Denver, I love him. He said, people who like chocolate milk are my kind of people. I know that's right, Kevin.
He knows what's up.
Jamal Calloway, your birthday is next Friday, man. We want to wish you an early happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Good people are Pisces. I appreciate you little Pisces people.
Little people. I'm so glad you like us, Mike.
Well, hey, because we get the Pisces out the way so we can go to the true sign, the Aries season.
Are you done?
Well, and our team has a lot of Aries, because we have Christine, myself, and we have Kim. Now, the thing Christine and I joke about Kim is a March Aries and we're an April Aries, and they're just a different little cut.
Mike, are you done?
I'm sorry. This is your day.
Thank you. Can I have a little measly 24 hours, please?
Daisy Brown said you should check out Inventing or Finding Anna on Netflix. Okay.
I've heard about that one too. Thank you, Daisy. Yep. I'm gonna. It's Inventing, I believe. Yep.
Inventing Anna. Okay. All right. We're gonna add that to the list as well. Ozarks was my jam as well.
Oh, I forgot. Yes.
And I just haven't been able to get into it because it's a little more intense than no, it's not that I don't like it. It's just a little more intense than Ozarks is one of them ones that you can't be distracted. Like you actually have to watch what's going on. It's almost like Narcos. It's like you have to kind of watch it because Narcos, well, it's all in Spanish, and so you got to watch the subtitles.
Right.
But but you got to pay attention to it because I was finding myself like half watching it while I was working on something, and then I like went through 2 episodes and was lost. So I said, let me go back and watch it again. So I just got to take my time with it. So I will.
Yes. Well, Ozark is my favorite. I can't wait for part 2. I am just like anticipating. But speaking of Netflix, this is our consumer report. Can we talk about the increase of Netflix again?
Yeah, the Netflix is going up, Amazon is going up. And my thing is, wait a minute though. Y'all aren't supplying anything. Like it's not like your stuff is stuck in a ship out in the middle of the ocean waiting to be pulled off of a boat. So why are you raising your price?
Netflix. Like the whole point of getting Netflix is so that many people have cut the cord for these different platforms, these apps that they can use to get the entertainment that they want to have. So you're going to raise your prices enough, and people are going to be like, "Well, I'm about to just have cable." By the time you finish putting together your Disney Plus, your Netflix, your Hulu, and whatever else you're watching, that's a cable bill plus the internet. The Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi.
Well, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I keep on trying to get myself to cut the cable, but then it's like I try to like through our cable we get Netflix, through my cell phone I get Hulu, I get Amazon Prime obviously, and then for something else we get Disney. So it's like by keeping the cable on top of that I get to keep Peacock because I've been checking. I love what they're doing with the new Bel Air. Mm-hmm. And we can't talk about that just yet because we're still trying to get folk watching it. But I don't know. It almost is at a point now where is it really worth it cutting that cable? Because
Well, it's worth it. It's worth it for us because I was just like, I'm not the $250 bill every month for cable. I was just like, for what? For them to play the same 5 movies back to back to back.
That's true. That's not true to that.
But I am a little salty with Netflix and their increase. But that's my little opinion about Netflix. I'm sure nobody's happy about that. But the other consumer report is, did you hear about this formula? I mean, clearly I know about it because I have Mason. This formula recall.
There's a recall. They're saying that there's some contaminated cases of formula. Christy, don't tell me that you guys are victims of it.
Oh, so today on the B-Day, I woke up this morning and I packed up all of the formula because every one of the containers of formula, and we get the big ones from Costco. And we stock up. We had like 9 or 10 containers of formula.
So you could be ready.
I had to return them all. Oh, they were all in the recall this morning.
Oh no.
So and so then you have to. So when we went to Costco, there were absolutely no. He uses Similac, and so there were absolutely no Similac formula containers on the shelves at all. It was all Enfamil, and I forgot the other one. And so they were just pulled. I guess Costco wasn't playing any games because it was just a certain batch that you had that had been recalled, but they pulled them all. So then you have to decide, well, what am I going to feed my child that's not going to get them sick? And so I called his pediatrician. I left a message waiting for her to give me a call back to just find out what would be the next best thing. So you just have to use your instinct and pray. That's why you got to keep your children lifted up.
You got to keep your children lifted up. Yeah. Well, have y'all thought about investing in a cow?
In a cow?
Yeah, get you a cow. That way you get unlimited milk supply.
So first of all, I no, we're not going to do that. No room for a cow.
I'm just saying, because then your entrepreneurial spirit can
Yeah, the farming industry is not the one that I believe the Lord is leading me into. But thank you, Mike.
Y'all have a big enough yard. I think if y'all had a couple of cows back there, oh my,
a couple. So we've gone to from a cow to a couple of cows.
But you can't have them out there by themselves.
They got to make other cows. They got to make baby cows.
I'm just saying. I mean, come on, if you're gonna do it, let's do it right.
Oh gosh.
Look, listen, Mason gonna need a cow. He gonna need a cow. I just already can see it in the spirit realm. You made it. You made it go get one.
Oh Lord, have mercy. You are such a nut.
Go get Mason a cow, so you don't have to worry about the recall of the.
Right. Listen, if I could have kept the breastfeeding up, I would have. This wouldn't
I
be an issue at
understand.
all.
I get it. I get it. I get it. Well,
Mhm.
so anyway, so the recall with the formula there, I think I remember, and I wish we had the information. It's a certain ID number. So if any of you of our listeners who you use formula or you interact with some folk who use formula, tell them to check out.
Yeah, look at the back of the formula container. The first 2 digits, if they're from the number 22 through 37, if it has K8 and there's two other identifiers, and then it has to be a sell by date or use by date of April 2022 or later. So all three of those components have to be present for that recall.
Okay.
But I'm sure if you purchase any formula in the last probably 2 to 4 months, you have formula that's in that recall.
It says the recall. Not that I was doubting you. I just wanted to make sure that we.
No, that's okay.
Let's see, affects certain lots of Similac, Alimentum, which I never heard of, and Elecare, with expiration dates of April 1st, 2022 or later.
Mm-hmm.
Products affected by recall will also have a long sequence of numbers on the bottom of the container that starts with the first, you write 2 digits 22 through 37 and contains K. Look at you in your memory. K8, SH, or Z2.
Yes.
So definitely please make sure
please. And this is important. Even if you don't have kids, think about those who do have babies and let them know. I contacted a few friends of mine, and my niece just had a baby. So just sometimes if it doesn't affect you directly, you don't necessarily think about it. But somebody got a baby that's likely, using formula.
They're
so
impacted.
Spread the word.
Christy, you got some folk who are looking out for you, though. Kevin said, "What about a goat?" So goats are smaller.
Thank you, Kevin.
You can make some goat cheese.
Listen, if you all are going to buy the goat or the cow and then also have it on your properties.
Oh, see, I was going to say, because I have some good. Listen, Christy, we have some good listeners, and you may get a couple of.
Listen, let the Lord use you.
But I don't know about the storage part. I don't know.
No. See, it's not coming here because we're not cleaning up no cow dung. Okay. We got Jax. That's enough.
That said, I am in Alabama right now on the family's farm. See, since you understands and appreciates the value of having.
And that's going to send
you might as well get a chicken. Then Mason can learn Old McDonald. Old McDonald the Baldwins had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
You are a nuts.
Oh my gosh, Crystal, you know what? We probably should take a quick break. Let's go ahead and take a break.
You're right, Mike.
Our world is filled with polarizing topics that land most people on one side or the other. The Headspace with Dr. Mike team isn't afraid to take them on. Monthly, we will invite people on both sides of some of the most controversial topics, from the serious to the silly, to debate their positions. We look forward to charged discussions that will inform and entertain. DM your head-to-head show ideas to us on Instagram or Facebook at Headspace DM.
Well, I'm glad we played the head-to-head promo twice, because fourth episode, fourth Saturday of the month is head-to-head time. And so, listeners, what are we going head-to-head about? What are we going to head-to-head about? We did a lot of things. They're always fun and enlightening. So if you have any ideas for what we can head-to-head, please feel free to send those suggestions. But while we're talking about head-to-head, because one piece that everybody wants to compete about is the Super Bowl halftime show. Well, let's start with the fact, congratulations to the LA Rams. They won the Super Bowl. I was rooting for the Bengals, but they just weren't able to carry it out.
It was a good game.
It was a great game. As a matter of fact, the whole playoff situation was great.
Mm-hmm.
I was very pleased with the whole situation. So it was a great game. Took us all the way up, and it hit a little different. I was sad our boys weren't playing in it, but at the same time, I was okay because I just wasn't in the mood for heartbreak. Heart attack football.
Listen, I posted that. I was like, I'm sorry, my Ravens weren't in it, but
Yep.
it really feels good not to have bubble guts
Yep. Yep.
while I'm watching this game.
Yep. I think we all are in agreement of that. But let's talk about the main event, because the main event, while the game,
Right.
LA, by the way, the as far as I'm concerned, the Super Bowl can stay in LA. I don't know if it's because I'm biased. I love LA. Like, I'm convinced that we're going to live in LA one day. I love LA anyway, but they just gave a good show. Like, the whole situation, just everything leading up to it, in my opinion, based off of what I saw. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, LA can keep it. But let's talk about this halftime show. How do we feel about it?
I want to thank all of the entertainers for doing their job last week, because it was the week before. I don't know. I'm losing track of time because I lost about good 15, 20 pounds dancing and singing and rapping, even though I didn't know all the words to the raps, but I knew enough. But I had a good time. It was nostalgic. They all looked good.
Yeah.
They all performed well. I thoroughly enjoyed everything. It was great. It was great. I rank it. I rank it in definitely the top 5.
Okay. That's what I said. I felt the same way. I think my favorite probably was when Prince did it in Miami and it rained while he was
Mm-hmm.
singing Purple Rain. Like, that was just dope.
Perfect.
Prince just gave a great show anyway. And then
Mm-hmm.
also I enjoyed our halftime show when we won the Super Bowl the last time. By the way, um Cincinnati fans, we don't know what it feels like to go to the Super Bowl and not win. Like, that's just how we roll. Like, we don't know what it feels like to actually go and not win, because every time we've been to the Super Bowl, we won. I'm just saying.
But not this time.
But not this time. We didn't go. That's true. But anyway, I enjoyed the Beyonce ones. I
Mm-hmm.
think there was the one where Katy Perry was riding on the lion. That was pretty kind of cool. But there was just
Michael
something about this.
Jackson,
Say it again.
the Michael Jackson one.
The Michael Jackson one. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what was I
Bruno
prepared?
Mars.
Bruno, yeah, Bruno Mars. Was I prepared to say that this one was the best ever? No, like, it
No, not
wasn't the
ever.
best ever. And
Recent history.
it was. And so my question is, was it good because of the nostalgia, or was it good because of the performances? Like, what made it good?
So I think it was both.
Okay.
I think it was both. First of all, Kendrick Lamar and Mary J to me killed it. Uh People were talking about not really feeling the set. And somebody made a really good point about the fact that the back half of the set was closed off. So all of the fans on that side couldn't see
And from
the
what I
rally.
understand, a lot of the fans couldn't hear it either. But
Oh no.
yeah, I heard they couldn't really hear it either. But
Oh, that's a shame because I
yeah,
heard it great in my family room. Uh, but but yeah, I think it was just, I'm probably biased. I'm biased because that's where that's my the music I grew up in, with, and it's close to my heart. So I probably am a little biased, but I
yeah.
thought it was both.
How do you feel about the fact that, and I think I knew this, that the performers during the Super Bowl don't get paid. They don't get paid
Mhm.
at all.
We talked
Um,
about this last year with
yeah,
what's his name, The Weekend.
the weekend, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't get paid. But I'm not, I mean, I think Mary J. Blige even got on the Breakfast Club and she talked about that, how the exposure that you get. Like, I'm sure people, I haven't checked yet, but I'm sure her songs are probably off the chart. And she just released a new project. So I'm sure.
hello, gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think that the fact that they don't get paid for it, I mean, it's just about the exposure.
First of all,
Um,
and we're talking about millionaires already. Come on,
yeah,
like, are
yeah.
they missing? Are they going to have to eat peanut butter and jelly because they didn't get
Right,
paid for this?
right, right,
I
right, right.
mean, come on. It's
Yeah.
like the biggest sporting event for the whole entire year.
Yeah. What about the commercials? Did you have any things you liked about the commercials?
I kind of was not paying attention to the commercials. I think, what was I? I was multitasking during the game. I was like cooking and doing a few things, so I missed a lot of the commercials. So I really can't even comment on them one way or the other.
There was the one commercial with the QR code. That's all it was a QR code.
I heard about that when it was bouncing
And
around
it was
the screen.
funny though. It was so genius to me because I found myself after a while saying, well, let me try it.
Yeah. Oh, one I did see. The one I did remember and see was the one with the COVID. It was some type of thing that you plugged into your computer, and it was a COVID test. And I was trying to figure out what that was. That did grab my attention.
Yeah, that was fascinating because it talked to you. I think it kind of actually talked to you about it and stuff.
It was like a Siri meets COVID-19 testing kit situation.
Well, nonetheless, it was. Let's see. Daisy Brown said you didn't miss much. Jamal talked. Okay, so Kevin wants to talk a little trash. How many rings do the Ravens have, Dr. D? You're right. The Ravens, but you gotta remember we're a new team. We don't have as much history as the Denver Broncos.
Thank you. Whenever somebody
does
that,
legacy, we ain't got that huge of a legacy, but we were
born in 1996. We are still young.
Exactly. And we have won because of what we did to y'all at the Miracle of in Denver. So I'm just
the High Mile Miracle.
So let's talk about that real quick, and then we gotta go to a quick break so we can get out of here. I was upset with NBC though because they talked about the Joes, and they were talking about the Joe Cools, and they talked about Joe Montana, they talked about Joe Namath, and then they skipped straight to Joe Barrow. But we actually had a Joe Cool as well, who won the Super Bowl and got the MVP in the form of Joe Flacco. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like the Ravens, we just always get the short end of the stick. They just forget that we exist.
And that's why we're so good.
Yeah, they just always forget that we exist.
They hate us because they ain't us.
I love how the roads always lead back to the Ravens. Let's go ahead and take our last break, Crystal.
Focused on photo, versed in video, For Any Media brings visions to life from headshots to family shoots, casual candids to structured scenes. Our team can provide whatever you need. In Baltimore, you may have seen us at local events such as the Poly City Tailgate or the Randallstown Grom. You can find us on all social media platforms at the number 4 Any Media. For Any Media, for anything. Contact us so we can create.
Well, now it's time to say goodbye to all our little friends. Chris, are you proud of me? I've been staying in key all day.
Very good, Mike. I know this is a challenge for you, so I'm proud of you.
Because I'm good for changing the key in a minute. Look, you go ahead and pull the key ring out. You're gonna get all of them.
Which one you want? I got them all.
Now don't tell me when to pull the different key. Just know that you're gonna get them. But hey, Christy, it was great. Thanks for hanging out with us for your birthday.
My pleasure.
We done put little Mason to sleep.
Yes.
And he is resting on the bosom, and he is this is pillow. That's how it works. Listen, y'all, we love you all so much. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. I wish you all of God's many blessings that he has for you. Y'all go ahead and keep it awesome, and we will see you next week. Peace.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Headspace with Dr. Mike. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to follow us on social media at Headspace DM to continue the dialogue with other Headspacers regarding today's show. Everyone is filling their headspace with something. The question is, what are you filling yours with? Tune in next week.